did you and Tony Stewart actually get to do?
Well, all of it. So, yeah, I would say me and Tony did 95% of the driving that you see in the video. There were a couple pieces of the driving that they had done before we got there. But yeah, all the stuff around the racetrack and driving to the track, driving around in the streets, that was me and Tony. I was really surprised that they basically had us sitting there at the stoplight. We shot the couple looks at the stoplight, me and looking at Tony, the girl, and all that. And then they were like, "All right, you guys are going to do the driving here to this, and you're going to turn here." And I'm thinking, "Wow, we're doing it." Okay, I thought they'd have some stunt guys, but I'll figure out how to drive this Tahoe or whatever I'm driving here on the fly. Like, okay, we're going to do some drifts and all kinds of good stuff. But I mean, we got a hold of it pretty quick and had some fun with it, and never ran into each other. We came off close a few times, but it was a good time. And the funny thing is we shot that video all night long. Like, we got there and started at 10 o'clock at night and shot all through the middle of the night. And oh man, it got to dragging there around 3, 4, 5 in the morning, trying to stay alert, like look like you hadn't been up all night, looking like you weren't tired, but pretty interesting.
Let's stick on the music topic because we actually have another question. Cassie Smith, have you been listening to much music during quarantine? If so, what artists and songs you've been playing recently?
So let's look at the phone. My buddy Tim Duggar, a country music artist, has came out with a small LP, that small new collection of songs that I have been talking about quite a bit on social media. And I love those songs. It's really good. Here, let me go to my recently added. David Nail and the Well Ravens. All right. So this is a really good song called In My Head on that record. I like David Nail and some of his music. Tim Duggar, Home Away from Home. That should be the number one country song in America today. Home Away from Home by Tim Duggar. If you don't play that and want to get up and do something and have some fun, if that doesn't get you in the mood, I don't know what will. So I would say there's a couple songs there that you can't go wrong.
Speaking of Tim Duggar, did you see what he just tweeted about you?
No.
Jimmy Means Race and said, let's reverse the question. Who is the rudest driver you've ever encountered? And Duggar chimes in, says, Dale Jr. If you try to take over and control the music, he gets pissy.
Yeah, well, he's right. He is right about that. So.
All right, moving on. Jessica Holler.
Me and Tim get on the touch tunes at the bar. And I mean, we're spending that extra quarter to jump in line and get our songs played. And there's songs, so we'll have so many songs teed up individually. We're sitting there playing our songs and trying to beat each other to the jukebox. We'll leave and that thing's still playing our music for 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy.
All right, Jessica Holler, she saw pictures of your haircut on your Instagram. She wants to know, how did it go with Amy cutting your hair? Any mishaps?
No problem at all. She was pretty good, and we just did like a kind of a number 4 on the sides. We got the back a little closer with the 3. We did a 6 to blend the ridge, and then we did an 8, and then we used the trimmers up on the front. So obviously, if you're really able to see you're not faded perfectly everywhere and not blended really well in some spaces, but my real hair cutter, hairdresser, whatever, she'll be able to tune all that up. But I was just glad to get that stuff off, man. I couldn't even wear a hat. None of my hats fit. It was I was thinking I was going to like it. I was like, man, I'm never cutting it. I'm going to see how long it gets. But it just keeps going up, right? My hair don't grow out and down like I wish. Like, it just grows up. And Amy just finally, she didn't even tell me. She's like, I got a box I'm waiting on. It hadn't showed up yet. I'm like, all right, what's in the box? She goes, clippers. I'm like, clippers. You cutting my hair? She's like, yep. You're getting a haircut. So I didn't even get to choose, which is probably good.
Our friend Higgy's back this week. He wants to know what characteristics of the virtual IndyCar stood out to you the most. In what ways was driving that car different than a Cup or Xfinity car at Michigan?
Well, the aero, the dirty air was real bad. And it was not a problem if you were in first or second. You were in really, really good shape and the car drove really good and turned really good. But as you got further back in the pack, and I qualified real bad for some reason, so I'm sitting around 15th early in the race and I had zero front grip. And it's just you're dying a slow death with that right front tire burning off. And there's really nothing you could do, because if you drive harder to try to get further up toward the front, you just burn that right front off sooner and end up fading really quickly at the tail end of the tire run. The tire degradation in that race car and that sim is pretty heavy. And so you kind of have to fall back almost losing the draft, but enough to get a little bit of turnability and clean air on the front to where the front will work without killing that right front tire. It was a very, very kind of frustrating way to run the race. I was hoping for a lot of cautions and attrition that would eventually put me closer toward the front to where I could take advantage of some of that cleaner air, but it never happened.
All right, we got one more question. This one coming from Dave. Since NBC aired a couple classic races that you won over the last week, what's another race of yours that you'd like to see them re-air?
Yeah, the All-Star race. The 1987 All-Star race. I think one of the coolest races that I was ever able to see in person. But 1987 and then mine in 2000, winning as a rookie. Really just was an amazing experience for me. Probably I have a hard time saying like this is my number one win. This is my favorite win. I don't have any win that I could say that about, but I know that the All-Star wins in that argument. Like I know without a doubt that whatever the others are, they're fighting with this All-Star win for number one. And so that was a cool one. I think the Richmond race where I passed Dad and held off Terry Labonte to win my second race in 2000 was pretty cool. Anytime I got to race around Dad, I like watching those. Because I imagine, this is what I like in the IndyCar on the simulator. I would rewatch the video of practice and stuff. And I would watch from the car behind me so I could watch myself drive the corner. And then I would criticize my driving, right? So I do that with the Cup stuff too. When I watch a replay of the race or whatever, I get in the cockpit of the car behind me and sort of criticize my entry. Man, I drove in the corner wrong, or what I did wrong in the middle of the corner, or what could I do better? How am I driving the track, and how can I do that better? And you can really see from that point of view. And so I've always wondered, in the rare moments when I was around my dad, what was he seeing when I would pass him? Like I passed him at Richmond for that win, passed him to go up there and win the All-Star race in 2000. And sitting in his car, him driving the way he was, kind of always focused on his deal with the blinders on. And then here I go by, I'll bet for a moment, maybe he kind of looked up and maybe just enjoyed that for a second, or I don't know, was very proud for a moment or what, right? I don't know. But I wonder, what that view was like for him as he's watching his car that he owns with his son at the wheel, right? Moving and driving and entering the corner and arcing and rolling the center and throttling up and doing all the things that are making it work.
All right, guys, that's it for today.
Awesome. That was some good questions. Thanks, Leah. Thanks everybody who tuned in and offered up some great questions. I hope you guys are doing well out there. We can't wait to get back to the big table. Can't wait to get back to normal. I know you guys can't either. This is Ask Junior, Dale Jr. Download presented by Xfinity. Appreciate you guys for tuning in.